Welcome everyone to the Pantheon. I am Ray.
I'm Evie.
And what are we watching today? Or reviewing
Natalie
today, sorry.
Portman. I know.
Sorry.
V for Vendetta.
Starring Natalie Portman. That's right. It is based on a graphic novel by Alan Moore. Now, Moore may sound familiar to you because he's the writer behind Watchmen. He's also the writer behind The Killing Joke. So his work is prolific. So he is sort of like a Moore, if you think about who he is nowadays, he's sort of like the J.B. Salinger of the comic book world. He's antisocial. No one really, he's sort of not liking those who've interpreted his work, and he's sort of bitter to the world. But he's a genius, like award-winning author. The artist who helped design the drawings, why it's kind of a dark world, is David Lloyd. This is a graphic novel. It's based on Guy Fawkes Day. It's an actual event that takes place on November 5th, celebrated only in England. It's not really a major event. It's about fireworks. It's about a foiling of a treacherous act or treason act, the killing of the king. This is back in 1605. And that's where it comes from. And November 5th, there's a kind of a nursery rhyme that's spoken to, like a motif in this movie that dates back to this. So November 5th is why we're reviewing this movie now, because today is Friday, November 5th. So which is why we're doing this, because it's considered a graphic novel superhero film. Superhero is a light term, if you will, but it's based on a graphic novel. In my monthly blog, I'm gonna do a novelization of this book.
Cool.
Okay, so I read the book already, and it's there is some discrepancies between the book itself and the film. And in my review, I'm gonna just say where the movie actually does better than the book. Similar to Alan Moore in Watchmen, I thought the idea of Dr. Manhattan being the villain in the movie is far better than what it was in the book, which was an alien, a fake alien invasion, which made no sense. It's like the guy who wrote this was on mushrooms. Like it was very psychedelic, and the film made more sense tying that loose end up. So in my review, the novelization has good parts. The film has some good parts, and I'm going to distinguish between the two. I'm going to break it down so it makes a little bit more sense. So it goes like this: a frightening and powerful tale of the loss of freedom and identity in a chilling, believable totalitarian world. V for Vendetta stands as one of the highest achievements of the comics medium and a defining work for creators Alan Moore and David Lloyd. Set in an imagined future England that has given itself over to fascism, this groundbreaking story captures both the suffocating nature of life in an authoritarian police state, redemptive power of the human spirit which rebels against it. Crafted with sterling clarity and intelligence, V for Vendetta brings an unequal depth of characterization and verisimilitude to its unflinching account of oppression and resistance. So, in other words, it takes place in England. Let's say the world was controlled by the Nazis, like for instance, like the Man in the High Castle, where if the Germans won the world, if the Germans won the World War, how would the world be now? It'd be that's the basic concept of what you're watching. So now we have a world that's basically you have no freedom. You're controlled by the state, So now it's about the human spirit trying to fight that Rage Against the Machine type situation and giving a voice for the voiceless. So that is what you have in this, with the cursed person named Evie, played by Natalie Portman, and V, a person who's a victim of the system, who was disfigured and harmed. It's about controlling the masses through controlled media. It's about following the parameters of what the government wants you to think and how you want to act, and keeping you within the boundaries of that. So it's a very interesting story. And V for Vendetta is an uprising. It's about anarchists, kind of like the ending for Fight Club. You destroy the establishment at the end, right? That what you're seeing is the towers it has the credit cards all being destroyed. Bringing everything back down to a level field of the poor and the rich, destroying that infrastructure. So there's a lot of themes in this movie. It's a very, very intelligent movie. Which is why it's hard to really digest this, because there's a lot coming to you fast and furious, and there's scenes of there's a scene of torture towards a Natalie Portman character, but then you realize that there's a massive twist to that of who's torturing her and what's pushing her buttons to do what she's doing and what happens. And there is, in that point, you have, it challenges it. That scene challenged my position of what's going on, and it's point. It serves a purpose for what you're seeing. It's liberating. It's the metaphor of the butterfly and the chrysalis coming out of your shell, and it's done through very horrific and brutal means. So it's not. Would you agree when I say to you this is not for kids?
Yeah, I did see the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I did watch it.
Yeah.
So I don't, it was very good actually.
But in terms of like, let's say, like, what kind of rating, like, what kind of age group would you say would be good for this movie? Like, like, obviously, like a 5-year-old, this is not for them, So like,
I would say maybe like 18, 19, to be honest with you. Like I got it and stuff. It was just long and boring for me.
Okay.
But no, I do get it.
Cool. It's the idealism of free will. So that is one of the most strongest messages of this book and the underlying core. So if you can read the novel, I recommend that. The movie is a fascinating movie to watch. It is brilliant in the sense that it's eye-opening, it's thought-provoking. It's still a superhero film. There's some great action. It feels like, you know what it feels like? It feels like if Assassin's Creed was done right in terms of a movie, this would be the kind of feel of using gunpowder and knives and flipping and jumping and punching and all that kind of stuff. This would be the one. This should have been what Assassin's Creed should have been. But this is more of a noir, dark edge film, and this is for adults or for 16 or 18 years of age or older. But it's still a very thought-provoking and very intelligent film. But it's still a very fun film to watch.
Cool.
So that's my review. And check out my blog. I'm going to do a little bit more insightful discussion between the two, book and movie. So with that, I'm Ray.
And I'm Evie.
We'll talk to you next week. Take care.
Wow. That was...